Howdy y'all, you got the Bulldog on the channel. Not a very long video, not a how-to or in-depth or anything. This is a bit of a rant, especially since this is not really a paying job. This is family, my boss's son, and it had 3 mounts ripped out of the engine. The engine was dancing around everywhere. So he looks it all up. Well, you know, we got 3 mounts ripped out. Might as well do all 4 of them, right? Right? Well, let me show you. He got it all together, and there was a horrible noise. You see this mount? You see how it's way off center? You put this thing in gear and idling, this thing hits back here. Well, the reason for that is this mount is welded at an angle. Ain't that nice? It's just not centered where it's supposed to be. Here's the old mount. You can see how it is way back towards this stud right here. And yes, I said stud. It's mounted on 4 studs. And then it's got a cradle underneath the engine down there. The hardest part of this job was doing those mounts down there on that cradle. Got one in the back on top of the cross member and below the steering rack. They're always a nightmare. That rear mount is always the worst part of every mount job. But that stuff has to come loose in order to let the engine down enough to get this mount out. And we look, and here's another reason why a lot of mechanics want to get their own parts. And whenever you have a huge disparity between the parts that you're looking up online and the part that your mechanic wants to sell you. Well, this is part of the reason. We run into this a lot. Now, this car is not long for this world. It's not going to be something he's going to own for the next 10 years. So just trying to get by with some of the cheaper stuff, and bought just a regular mount from a parts store locally here. Name the brand that they carry, you know, the only brand that they carry. And we found this out. Well, we'll look for the other brands, and we started looking at the stock pictures that they use for all these different brands, and it's all the same pictures. Because it would appear that they're all the same mounts. They just have different names on them, which is something we run into a lot. That means that all of these mounts are all going to look like this because they're all made on the same jig. Now, when you're going to your mechanic and he's saying this mount's going to cost you $200 or $300, and then you check at the big box parts store and they're selling the same one for 50 bucks. Is it the same one? Or is it one that's going to ground up against the body, and every time you put it in gear, it's going to go like that? He's going to go back into it. Of course, he wasn't charging labor anyway. So he's a little bit upset about that. At least there's another vehicle to drive. It's not something that has to be done by 5 o'clock or he's going to lose the shop, you know, that kind of stuff. But that's why there is a difference sometimes in the parts that you're being sold. Now, if they're trying to sell you a part for $300 and it's the same one that you can buy from the parts store for 70 or 50 or 20, might be a little different. But that's your choice. We're probably going to end up putting this one back in because of all the mounts. Yeah, this one was good. Ish. Kind of. Yeah. That one was the less batter. of all of them. And if all we can get is that there, we can order all kinds of them online, wait days, and then get them here and find out it was made on the same jig that one was made on. That's going to be upsetting. So that will probably outlast the car. Probably just put it back in. The fact that it sits on studs and it has to go down 3 inches in order to get out, that's going to be a little bit difficult. But oh well, it is what it is. Just some info for you. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell notification, share it all around. We'll talk to you later.